you will have seen, and if not, you're about to hear about them. Stories about, really awful stories about 6 foreign tourists, including one young British woman, dying from suspected methanol poisoning while travelling just on holiday on a break in Laos. Awful story, and I just think it's worth reporting it in and of itself, but also as a kind of warning and information for you or a loved one if they're intending to travel to this part of the world, just to be on alert really for similar. I'm joined by Dr. Simon Elliot, a consultant forensic toxicologist and director of Elliot Forensic Consulting and Toxicology UK. What's your reading of this so far, Dr. Elliot?
Afternoon. Obviously, it's tragic and is a real problem when people don't know what they're consuming. My reading really is that unfortunately methanol is a very toxic substance, and it's virtually impossible for anybody to detect that they are consuming it if they bought an alcoholic drink.
What is it, first of all? Is it just pure alcohol?
No, so alcohol is a term that people generally use, but the beverage that people would drink that would be whiskey or beer contains ethanol. Methanol is another type of alcohol. So methanol, people will be familiar with as being maybe in screen wash or in antifreeze or in methylated spirits. So methanol itself is a separate chemical, a solvent.
And have we seen examples of this before, where criminals, suppliers of these drinks, are deliberately filling them up with these dangerous substances?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have. We've even seen it in the UK. There have been occasions where there have been so-called bad batches of vodka being sold in shops in the UK with methanol in there that have caused some problems.
I mean, the police are still investigating exactly what's been going on here, but they have made a few arrests. The manager of the hostel where some of them were staying has since been detained. Few details yet emerging about any of the other victims, but we do know that there are a couple of Australian victims and a young British woman as well. What do you think safeguards should be if one travels there, particularly if your young child goes off and travels there in a gap year or something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, one of the things that can be done is when you're drinking alcohol with methanol, it can produce symptoms of quite a strong headache, and you can feel nauseous, and you may even vomit. Now, if it's the first swig of the drink you've had, for instance, and you've not actually been drinking normal alcohol, so to speak, then that could be an indicator, a sign that you've actually consumed something that is bad for you.
If it happens
So
very
listen to
quickly.
what your body says.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pretty quickly. Listen to what your body says. And if you get worse over time, then seek medical help as quickly as possible.
Thank you. I mean, I know that was short and sweet, but I think it was just important to point out to people what it is and to be aware. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Simon Elliot, consultant forensic toxicologist and director of Elliot Forensic Consulting and Toxicology UK.